Hello, my name is Caitlin, and today's book to movie video is Red Sparrow! And I'm so happy that I finished the book and saw the movie, and I just have so many things to say, and unfortunately some good and some bad. I don't know when this book was on the bestseller list or like who decided to make this a movie, but the book itself came out in 2013 and it just became a movie now in 2018. Sorry, Sassy is in the other room squeaking her toys because as soon as I start talking she has to play with her toys. So back when it came out, I'd actually never heard of it, and this is book one of a trilogy. And I've literally never heard of any of them. So I don't know if they were popular before and I just missed them all or what. Maybe I wasn't paying attention during that time period, but somehow I missed this book and I feel like it should have been on my radar because it gave me very Girl with the Dragon Tattoo vibes. Just that like badass chick kind of theme that some books have going for them. It's definitely like an ongoing theme. We have Hunger Games, and well, anyway, I don't even want to list them all. So when I saw the trailer for this movie, I was like, oh, it looks kind of interesting. And then I heard it's a book and I was like, oh, that's even more interesting. Let me go check out the book and then I'll go see the movie because that's what I like to do. So I read the book. I just finished it last night. Oh my goodness. If you like spy books of any type, I highly recommend this book. Not only is it written by an ex-CIA guy who was like in the CIA for over 30 years, but he's just an excellent writer. I just fell in love with all of the characters, the good ones, you know what I mean. His writing style is fantastic. It pulled me in, it kept me captivated. It didn't feel like over the top, or you know how some people don't like Dan Brown because his writing is a little childish. This, I did not get that vibe. Very smart writing, very good. And he throws in a ton of like cool stuff about being a spy and like working in the CIA and all kinds of fun things that you don't really think about, but it's like maybe this is actually real because he wrote it in a book, and it's like it could actually be a non-fiction book in a lot of ways, but it's not. So I'm not really going to give away anything plot related. I'll just tell you that the book centers around, the book and the movie, centers around a female character, Dominica, and she is an ex-ballerina who's been recruited by her uncle, who is an officer in the SVR, and so he recruits her to work under him in the SVR. And it's kind of about her role in the SVR as an intelligence officer slash Sparrow. So they do send her to Sparrow School, and Sparrow School is where they train you to essentially sleep with other people. There's a lot more to it. It's about using psychology and your body to get information from others, essentially. So the book, fantastic. Loved it, ending fantastic, loved the characters, cannot wait for the next two books because, well, they're already out, I just have to read them, but I can't wait to read them. Now the movie. I went into the movie definitely holding my breath because it currently stands, I think, at about a 53 on Metacritic. Not very good. And even though it has a great cast with Jennifer Lawrence, I was about to say J-Law, but let's just go ahead and say Jennifer Lawrence, Jeremy Irons, Joel Egerton, I think those are pretty much the main three. So the movie should be excellent. The book is so good. There's just so much they could possibly do to make this movie excellent. However, the way the director, the screenwriters, everyone involved kind of focuses their plot, the movie's plot, where they took it from the book and they put it into the plot, it's just very vulgar in a lot of ways, and not just like in one way, many ways. So the movie opens with a wonderful scene. It's an excellent scene, and I kind of thought like, oh wow, maybe this isn't gonna be so bad. It's just like there's these cutscenes and important things are happening and it kind of sets the stage. And then it kind of all goes downhill from there. And it all starts when she is sent to the Sparrow School in the movie. In the book, she first goes to intelligence spy school, whatever you want to call it, but she actually goes to school to learn to be a spy. And she learns a ton of things. She's doing very well. She's actually learning how to become a spy. In the movie, they completely cut that out. They don't even try to teach her how to be a spy. They're like, no, we're just gonna send you to the school where you can just learn to sleep with people and get what you need. Okay, I mean, whatever. Maybe for the sense of time, they had to nix that part out. However, I feel like that would have added to her credibility a tad. Unfortunately, they're like, no, we're just gonna send you to school so we can show your naked body and put it on the screen. And this is where it all just goes downhill for me. And I knew just from the scenes at the Sparrow School that this is how the movie was going to focus on everything. Because there are just a ton of scenes that don't have it in the book at all, and in the movie become like a focal point and are really just exploiting Jennifer Lawrence's body in a lot of ways. I get it, it's a movie, but I feel like they had so many opportunities to go in different directions alongside the book, and no, they're just gonna focus on her being naked. And there's an attempted rape scene in the movie, and in the book, she takes care of business, you know, she's like strong, and it's like, no. And in the movie, they kind of they use it as a tool to, After Sparrow School, she kind of gets thrown into a case, and that's where Joel Egerton's character, who's an American, comes into play. And I really don't want to go on with the plot at all because there's just so many twists and there's so many things intertwined with the twists, and it's impossible not to give anything away. So, no more on the plot. However, I'm going to give you some details of what the movie did that were just absurd. In the book, I feel like Dominica's she's already a strong character. She's already a badass. She can read people. In the book, she can actually see the colors of people and like their aura, and that's how she reads people. The movie cuts that out entirely. I wasn't sure how they were going to do that anyway, so it kind of makes sense that they cut it out. However, in the book, it's extremely important because she has this like insider information into everybody's head because she can see what they're thinking, not really see what they're thinking, but their thoughts, their emotions, just by reading their aura, and how like all the bad people are like yellow red and all the good people are like purple blue. It's a little cheesy, I will give it that, but it definitely sets her above the rest. The movie cuts all that out. She doesn't have any of that. So when they send her to Sparrow School in the book, I feel like she's already strong and powerful. Not powerful, but she has like this internal will, and she can just read people really well. And she does a really good job at the Sparrow School, and nobody really, you know, they tell her to take off her clothes, and she takes off her clothes because she is going to be damned if she's going to feel like a certain way. She's just going to do it. She knows she has to get the job done. In the movie, they make her very mousy and kind of like, no, I don't want to take off my clothes. It's like, girl, you're at Sparrow School to train to be, you know, a spy that sleeps with people. So eventually they turn her into this hardened, emotionless, sexual creature who just can take off her clothes at whim and not care at all. Well, okay. So in her short time at Sparrow School, they create this character. I definitely can appreciate how the book kind of just, she already is a badass. The movie just kind of like takes credit for making her a badass. No. It kind of reminded me of that scene in V for Vendetta where V is torturing Natalie Portman's character, and she's like, at first, very emotional and soft and like cries a lot, and then by the end of the torture scenes, she's like hardened and has no emotion and just like ready to take on the world. That was kind of the vibe I got from it, which I think I understand because I guess in the movie you can't really have her be a badass already. Maybe that would, you know, she wouldn't have as much credibility. You have to actually see her grow into a badass. I kind of never really got that vibe in the book. In the book, I felt like she didn't really care about Sparrow School. She didn't really need Sparrow School. Sparrow School was just kind of like what her uncle made her do, and it was kind of just, I don't know, she just went through it and went on. So then she's this badass sex spy, and she has to use her skills to get what they need. They as in SVR. And from that point, every single sex scene in the movie is completely different than the book. They made it just so, so just terrible. The very first scene in the book, she kind of takes control and she knows she has to sleep with this guy to get information out of him. In the movie, they make it a total rape scene. Why do they have to do that? Why can't they just let her have the power? And the funny thing is, in the book, there really aren't that many scenes like that, if any, except from the beginning. But the movie, there's like a bunch of scenes where she is just solely a sex object that men are just so attracted to that they're just going to do what she needs, or she uses this sexual power to kind of, you know, control the men around her. Obviously, the movie focused on the Sparrow School from the beginning to the end. She was never anything more than just a sex object, and it's very unfortunate because in the book I did not get that vibe. Because in the book, I probably would have stopped reading it because it would have given me those creepy vibes, and I never really got that. But in the movie, it's just so blatant and in your face, and you're like, this is almost like a metaphor for exactly what's happening in the movie. They're using Jennifer Lawrence as a sex object, as a character that's a sex object. I don't think that's actually a metaphor, but you guys know what I mean. It's just, the parallels are uncanny. You can see I'm kind of upset by this because, I don't know, we're in this like period of time about female empowerment, and they just kind of like, no, you're just TNA, you know, use your vagina to get what you need from men. So that's one side of the off-putting spectrum of this movie. The other side is the side of the absolutely obtuse, gruesome scenes that they have in this movie that in the book, I feel like he did a very good job of kind of like, there are torture scenes, right, in the book. There are, for sure. But he kind of glosses over them. You never kind of get like that cringy, I can't read this vibe. In the movie, there are definite scenes where it's like you don't even want to watch. I don't mind them so much, but I can see how some people would not be able to even handle some of the scenes in this movie, and then it just becomes like a torture porn type movie. The book just does such a better job of implying the terrible things that are happening during these torture scenes, and the movie just shoves it in your face, and it's just disgusting and unnecessary. They could have done a much better job. Obviously, this is what they wanted to do. They wanted to shock you with some sex and some blood. And then in the movie, they also add an extra torture scene as if there is not enough. It's just actually completely useless. Like, there's just no purpose for the scene itself other than to add an extra torture scene to the movie. Now, obviously, I'm not going to give away any spoilers or how it ends. It's definitely full of twists and turns and fun stuff. But the ending of the movie is actually completely different than the book. I don't know how they can do that. How do you change the ending? So I think the reason why they changed the ending is to set it up for the sequel. There is a book 2 and 3. I haven't read them yet, so I don't know how they go. But if the movie obviously is going a different direction, then I don't know what they're gonna do, but they're obviously setting it up for a sequel. And the main way that they change the end of the movie is with a character. And in the book, it's like my favorite character, and in the movie, he actually doesn't even exist. So go figure. So if you take the two, the book and the movie, and compare them side by side, the movie is completely atrocious. I can see how some would like the ride and enjoy it, and the twists and turns are nice, and if you don't take it too seriously and you just enjoy it for what it is, and the spy thriller and all of that fun stuff, and if you don't care about them using Jennifer Lawrence as a sex object or the gruesome torture scenes, and if you just kind of take it as that, then I can see how it was kind of enjoyable. Unfortunately, it's way too long. It's 133 minutes, which is anything over 2 hours is painful. And in the middle of the movie, it definitely slows down a lot, and it becomes kind of a snore in the middle. I was a little bit bored, and it didn't need to be because the book has so much going on. They could have easily filled it. And Jennifer Lawrence is nothing but the thing that she is rebelling against in the movie, which is so ironic. The book, as I've already mentioned, it was fantastic. It was riveting. I couldn't put it down. I think I read it in like 3 or 4 days. It was just so good. Overall, I thought Jennifer Lawrence did a pretty good job in this role. She has a very good emotionless face when she's just kind of like that resting face. Some people have a resting bitch face, and her resting face is just kind of void of any emotion. It doesn't look mad, it doesn't look sad or angry or anything. It just kind of is emotionless, and that probably is why she got the role. However, I kind of wanted somebody a little bit more fierce and badass and not so mousy. Jennifer Lawrence as an SVR agent is just not very convincing, and maybe that's why they did cast her in the role as well, because technically the movie doesn't even have her as an SVR agent. They just have her as a Sparrow, and they kind of just threw that whole portion of what she's doing away. So after reading the book and seeing the movie, I would highly recommend the book, and I would recommend the movie as like, well, yeah, watch it on HBO one night. Maybe don't take it too seriously and have a strong stomach for some of the scenes. Otherwise, I would just pass and hope that the sequel gets a different director and scriptwriter. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you read the book or saw the movie or did both like me, then let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you're wondering what I'm going to be reading for next week, I've actually already read it, and that means Ready Player One. I had to think about the title. Ready Player One comes out on Thursday, and I am so excited because I have no idea what to expect. The trailers, I really don't like. I liked the book. I'm like one of the few that actually liked the book, I think, and I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a cheap thrill, and so I'm excited to see if Steven Spielberg can bring this movie to life. We'll see next week. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.